Hey, just wanted to come live and let's do a CompTIA lab example that they give us at the CompTIA website. Let's see here. I'm Kesha, part of CyberSMAC. I am CyberSMAC. CyberSMAC is a name, a brand that I'm kind of building to assist with learning how cyber and the SMAC model goes together. Cybersecurity and social media, mobile analytics, and cloud come together into the name that I made up, which was CyberSMAC. And SMAC model is kind of like STEAM or STEM. And the difference that I can say is that STEAM and STEM are educational or HR tracks that lead you into getting degrees as such. And jobs lead you to jobs, which is an awesome thing, a good thing. There's no and or, it's just what they both are. And the third item being SMAC is more of a business tool that is used to maintain and enhance business, which is social media, mobile analytics, and cloud, including cybersecurity. So anyway, I'm Kesha, and I'm here with CyberSMAC, and I'm studying for A+. I'm studying for A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. And I've been studying for A+ for about maybe a month, time-wise altogether. Spanned across a few months because I just kind of started and decided to go live and see if anyone wanted to study A+ with me. And been studying Network Plus and Security Plus for a while, maybe about 11 weeks. And so I'm getting ready to prepare to take tests pretty soon. And for what I understand, network equipment is the same on all three tests. So me learning network equipment and network equipment troubleshooting is going to be viable for all three examinations. So just asking for anyone to join me in cybersecurity. I just love it. So yeah. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen here. And this is what CompTIA has given us in order to share what is the simulation that they've given us as a practice for the test. And it's just a good practice for learning the network also, I presume. It's basically just a map of a small office. It looks like they have file servers, email servers, and web servers, of course, that they're trying to keep as safe as possible. And they have a couple of workstations, and they have a couple of switches and a router and routers. And of course, showing you the flow of things of where the internet is versus the internal systems of the internal equipment in the network. So basically, what we're going to do okay, so hopefully you can see this, because now what I'm going to do is bring up the test question. And if you went to, let's see here, see where you can pull this up. It is the comptia.org/certification/A. website, and you go down to, it says type of questions, and then it has multiple choice questions, single and multiple response, drag and drops, and performance based. And so that is where I found this simulation under performance based. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so after, we're going to go ahead and read this. Let's see if I can have this read.
Read the question carefully, follow the instructions, and then click the Submit button when you have finished. You will receive a numeric score once you have submitted a response. After experiencing attacks on its servers, company hired a cybersecurity analyst to configure a DMZ and increase security measures. Shortly after the network was reconfigured, an assistant on the second floor reported that one of the executives could not access the internet, more specifically https://comptia.org. However, he said, they can send internal email, use the intranet, and print on the local area network printer. Instruction: check the IP addresses and connectivity for each of the workstations to determine which is the affected machine. Use that information to ensure that the Access Control List ACL is properly configured to allow all workstations access to the internet. The router's ACL implements an implicit deny. Only make changes to correct the connectivity issue. If at any time you would like to bring back the initial state of the simulation, please click the Reset All button.
Okay. Let's get this off of here. Oops. Okay. So basically, we're checking IP addresses and connectivity for each of the workstations to determine which is the affected machine. Okay, so let's do that first. And this is one of my favorite things to do, is to ping. Let's see. If we know what the IP address is for this one. Okay, and let's see if we get ping. Okay, it pinged that one. Let's see if this one would ping to this one. Let's see where it is. Okay. 92.168.0.82. Okay, they ping to each other. That's perfect. So let's now see if they ping out to Google. Okay. Okay. Workstation 1 is pinging out to it's pinging out. Okay, we got a problem here. So this one did not ping out. It dropped everything. It timed out and it did not drop. So now we know that workstation 2 has got a problem. Okay. And let's see what else we can click in here. And so what we're going to do is go to the router. And it's telling us what the address, netmask, network, broadcast is. So we're going to go to the ACL, which is going to have our rules. And we're going to look at all the rules. So from 64 to 32 on the 27th, we're going to accept everything. Okay. Okay, we've got 10 rules, any, deny. Okay, that's the last. And so the one that's not working is this one, 82. Let's see if any of these rules follow along with these three. 192, 168, 0, 32. Okay. Let's see if it's 65. 64. Okay, that's the destination though. And 64 is okay. Excuse me. Okay, let's see here. 160. Let's see here. What if, so dot 80, what is that, 65? Any, and deny. And this one, I would say this is accept, and this is deny. So it's either going to be number 2 or number, oh shit, we got these two. Let's try this one. Okay. There we go, we did it. That was the rule that needed to be taken away. There we go. Bam. All right, now let's go to, let's just go to the study page that CompTIA gives us so that we can kind of see why that was the answer. Okay. All right, what we got here is that I went ahead and looked up some questions. I was basically on this website, and I went ahead and got access from the CompTIA's website to gain the questions, the sample questions, and then also some of the tests. And as you can see, they have 4 different languages: English, German, Spanish, and Portuguese that you can take the test in. And so of course I'm taking it in English because I'm American. And just because I don't speak Spanish, Portuguese, or German, I can speak a little German, Kesha, but we're not going to take a test in German. I'm not going to do that. So let's see here. So what I am going to do is go ahead and let's do some core practice questions, okay? And see what happens. And it looks like we have a good 10 of them. And so we can just try to see where we can get. And then after that, I've got the core objectives. I've got another, that's the same thing. I've got another practice test. And then I have the core objectives to 1002, the core objectives to 1001. Okay, get out of here. Let me see something here about the 1002. Okay, perfect. So we haven't gone through these, so we're just gonna just like go through this and see if it's something that's super known, and then go back through and study some more. Okay, it is a lot of stuff here. Kind of very similar though. The percentages are definitely different, and they have 5 domains on the 1001, and the 1002, they have 4 domains. So the domains are different from the operating systems, security, software troubleshooting, and operational procedures. And then mobile devices, networking, hardware, virtualization, and cloud computing, hardware and network troubleshooting. So those are the 9 cores of the test. So let's just go ahead and go to the practice questions. If we get them all wrong, we're just going to learn something today. We're just going to learn. So question number 1, which of the following devices provides the portability of a mobile phone and functionality of a laptop desktop? So we know that's pretty much probably a tablet. The GPS unit, e-reader, not so much a mobile phone, and not even a functionality of a laptop. So I'm going to go with A on this one. Let's see if I can write on here so we can remember. Okay, anyway, we'll just have to remember. Excuse me. So, okay. Okay. I got the quiz up there. So question 2, and these are all from CompTIA's website. Okay. Question number 2, a user brings in a smartphone for repair. The device is unable to send or receive calls or connect to Wi-Fi. All applications on the device are working unless they require connectivity. Which of the following is most likely causing the problem? Airplane mode, tethering, disabled hotspot, VPN. I would say airplane mode. Yeah. Just kind of check to see if the check wireless access point, check wireless switch. That's what I would do. Check the wireless switch. Question number 3. A human resources manager requests wireless access points to be set up for the office. A server will manage the wireless settings, and authorized devices should be able to access confidential records over Wi-Fi. A server will manage the wireless settings, and authorized devices should be able to access confidential records over Wi-Fi. Which of the following settings should be configured to meet the requirements? A human resources manager requests wireless APs to be set up for the office. Okay, let's see here. I don't know what UPnP is. That's different right now. I'm not recognizing that, I should say. I would say right now, because I don't recognize that, this is a hard one. I would say D. Okay. Which of the following technologies can be used for wireless payments? NFC, Bluetooth, IR, LTE. A. I don't know what some of these acronyms are. Well, we're going to learn today. 5. Which of the following connector types can be plugged into a device both right side up and upside down? Can be plugged into. So I would say it's USB-C. A user wants to build a computer with a high-end CPU, plenty of RAM, and a high-end graphics card for online gaming. The user wants to verify that the graphics card is compatible with the motherboard. Which of the following connection types would the user most likely utilize to connect the video card to the motherboard? I would say a PCIe. Okay, I might be wrong, but that's what I'm saying. Which of the following peripheral types is most likely to be used to input actions into a PC? Input actions into a website. I would say a webcam, even though it is basically able to bring it to record, and that recording will be on your computer. Which of the following resource types would be best suited to saving photographs from a mobile device with limited onboard storage? Cloud file services, virtual desktop, offsite email, resource pooling. I would say cloud. An engineer's workstation experiences a BSOD whenever loading very large CAD files to modify. Which of the following troubleshooting steps should a technician take to isolate the issue? Install additional RAM rated at the fastest speed the motherboard will support. Perform a hard drive scan to identify and lock out any bad sectors for use. Run a memory test. And BSOD is blue screen of death, I'm assuming. It experiences the blue screen of death whenever loading very large CAD files to modify, which means probably just doesn't have enough space. It's just like overloading. Okay, so perform a hard drive scan to identify and lock out any bad sectors. Run a memory test to verify all memory addresses can be reliably written to and from. Increase the size of the swap file to ensure adequate virtual memory is available. Install additional RAM rated at the fastest speed the motherboard will support. It's either A or D. It's the size of the swap file. Increase the size of the swap file. I'm going to say A. A user is unable to browse internet websites. A technician runs ipconfig and sees the following output: IP address, subnet mask, default gateway. The technician pings the gateway and gets a reply. The technician then pings an external IP address and also gets a reply. Which of the following commands would most likely resolve the issue? So he used the default gateway and got outside. I would say C, flush the DNS. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So for number 1 and 2, the letters are A. So what's tablet? Okay. And question number 2 was you're not able to receive calls or Wi-Fi. It is in airplane mode. You need to get it out. Okay. So let's go down to 3 and 4, C and A. Okay, number 3 was C, and so it was WAPA or WPA without the 2, encryption, infrastructure mode, and MAC filtering. So that was the answer. Which of the following settings should be configured to meet the requirements that should be done? And then this is A. Which of the following technologies can be used for wireless payments? NFT. And does it say what NFT is? It does not. So we'll have to look up what NFC is on our acronyms. And so the next one is 5 and 6 is number 5 is USB-C. And the reason why I know that is because I saw that somewhere on one of my cell phones. I have a C on one and the others are not. And I can connect them both sides, even though I always do still have to switch. Go figure. And number 6 is definitely PCI lowercase e. Okay. Let's see what 7 and 8 is. Oh, 7 is mouse and 8 is cloud file services. So number 7, I remember we definitely got that one wrong. We guessed webcam, but the answer is mouse. The mouse is going to help give an input action into the PC. So number 8 is, of course, cloud. And number 9 is run a memory test to verify all memory addresses can be reliably written to and read from. And let's see what we put for number 9. Okay, I don't even think that we had that one as one of our answers. We thought it was A or D, and it was actually C, run a memory test to verify all memory addresses can be reliably written to and read from. Okay. And then IP config flush DNS. I had to do that once. It was kind of scary to do, but I had to do it. And so that's what you have to do if you can ping to the ping to the external IP address. So you ping to the gateway and get a reply. The technician then pings an external IP address and also gets a reply. Which of the following commands would most likely resolve the issue? A DNS flush, because basically it's able to ping, it's able to talk to itself. What is this? It pings the gateway and then pings external. Oh, it pings up to the door, and then it can ping like Google 8.8.8.8.8.8. And so what's wrong? It just needs to be flushed. Something's wrong. Maybe there's cache or something. I don't know. I don't know that far yet. Okay, so let's go to the questions that are on CompTIA 1002 practice questions. Okay. What's funny is I want to just check real quick to see what this acronym is. NTF. Look at that. It didn't even have it. What is this? I believe that was Pete. That was. Okay, we're not going to spend too much time because I thought that's what it was. And obviously, that is not what it was. Okay. We'll come back to those. Anyway, we are now at the 102 practice questions. Okay. Which of the following is the best use case scenario for a Chrome OS device? Web browsing and email, photo and video editing, application development, database queries. I would say web browsing and email. Question number 2. And we got these practice questions from the CompTIA website, okay? And this we already went through A+ 1001 practice questions. There were 10 of them, and now we're going through the other 10 on A+ 1002. And we don't care if we get them right or wrong. We're just going through the questions, and we're going to do some studying to learn what's on the questions. And we also did a lab, doing IP config and going out and testing 2 computers towards if they could ping to each other, and then if they could ping to Google. And there was a problem with one, so we had to check the ACL and remove a rule that allowed us to be able to ping out to Google. And that's something that we did before. So now question 2 is a technician implements a group policy change and needs to apply it without restarting the workstations or workstation. Which of the following commands can be used to accomplish this task? So he is group policy, change, and needs to apply. I would say GP update, but I could be wrong, but that's mine. It could be GP result, but I think it's GP update. Okay, number 3. An end user has requested assistance from the help desk to install new video editing software. An end user has requested assistance from the help desk to install new video editing software. The user wants to create several .wma files. Which of the following should the help desk consider before installing the software? Disk space, network connection, aspect ratio, power supply. I think power supply is the last. I could be wrong. Aspect ratio, not sure. Network connection, that is, wants to create several. Has requested assistance to install new video editing software. He could be nowadays installing, back in the day we install from disk, which is, so network connection is very important. And disk space, I would think, would be very important. But I would think that you could always put an external drive. So I would think network connection would be the first thing that the IT person the help desk person would check. Okay, I could be wrong. A new security requirement for logging onto a computer network has been put in place for all users. Which of the following should a systems administrator enforce? To best meet this requirement, select 2. A new security requirement for logging onto a computer network has been put in place for all users. Which of the following should a systems admin enforce to best meet this requirement? Security. Okay. Let's say multi-factor authentication and strong passwords. Okay, number 5. Which of the following password choices increases the chance that a brute force attack will succeed? Which of the following password choices increases the chance, not decreases, but increases the chance that a brute force attack will succeed? I would say dictionary words. If you just use dictionary words, you probably will get brute force attacked, and they will crack open your password and open up your computer. Number 6, a user connects a printer to a workstation. As the printer drivers are installed, an error message appears. The default drivers appear to be incompatible with the OS operating system. Which of the following should a technician use first to troubleshoot the problem? Services, device manager, programs and features, or Task Manager. I open up Task Manager for everything, so I'm going with that one for 1,000. It could be completely wrong, okay? Or is it Device Manager? That sounds more, I don't know. Okay, let's just stick with D, and it could be very wrong. Joe, a user, forgot his password and was unable to log into a workstation. Joe remembers the password later, but he is still unable to log in. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the issue? We've all done this. He's locked the account. He tried too many times with the wrong password, and the account is now locked. He has to call the IT help desk. No, it's never happened to me. Never, ever. That's never, ever happened to me, Yeah. Okay, number 8. A user reports a phone battery does not last the entire day, and the phone's navigation is slow. Which of the following should a technician do first to troubleshoot the device? Examine the running app, update the firmware, reinstall the most used application, turn off all network services. Wow, yeah, we should know this one because I'm always having to maintain the highest capacity use for my cell phone until I got my new phone. The user reports a phone battery does not last the entire day. So we're going to examine the running apps, because if we close down all the other apps that are not running and not needed, we should have more batteries. That's what I'm going with. A. I've done it before. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Question 9. Which of the following is the proper way to dispose of batteries? Shred, recycle, dispose in trash, incinerate. I'm thinking incinerate might not be right. Dispose in trash is kind of a lazy way to do it, even though I've done it before. Sorry. I do recycle, but I've done that before. I don't think it's the proper way. Recycling, I think, is the proper way. I've never heard of shredding batteries because I've never worked as a trash recycler for a trash company. So it could be shredded, it could be incinerated, but I doubt it. So let's just go for recycle. Number 10, to prevent electrical damage to a PC while working on it, which of the following should be disconnected before work begins? To prevent the power cable should be disconnected for sure. That's for sure. Okay, let's see where we are, what we got right and wrong. So number 1 and 2 are A. So number 1, we got web browsing and email. That's the best case for Chrome, which, yeah, okay. Number 2 is updating the group policy without having to restart the station is definitely GP update, okay? And let's go back down. 3 and 4 are both A also. An end user has requested assistance from the help desk to install new video editing software. The user wants to create several files, WMA files. Which of the following should the help desk consider before installing the software? And he should consider disk space first. Okay. Disk space first, not network connection. I got that one wrong. Let me go down to number 4. Okay. Number 4 is exactly what we thought it would be. It was strong passwords and multi-factor authentication. And it's something that I am doing for everything that I have is making sure that everything has multi-factor authentication. It is a very high hill to climb, but I'm sure it's going to be more secure for everything that I'm into. Don't hack me, because I don't know what I do, but don't hack me. I'm working on my multi-factor authentication. Anyway, I don't think you can hack me because I've got a very solid system going on here. Very solid, okay? Yeah. And my third thing that I'm doing to keep a really solid system going over here, the first 2 is already done. The third one is multi-factor authentication. So the first 2, then I've got 3. I've got multi-layered security systems going on. So you shouldn't be able to hack me. And that's not a challenge. Anyway, number 5. Let's figure out what number 5 is. Okay. Dictionary words and device manager. So I was right and wrong. Okay. So which of the following, that's my washing machine you can hear. Sorry. Which of the following password choices increases the chance that a brute force attack will succeed? Definitely dictionary words. Do not use dictionary words for passwords because we can just throw a dictionary into a brute force password cracker and figure out what passwords you're using and social engineer and open your passwords up. Number 6 is a device manager instead of task manager. So I guess sometimes what I'm doing is task manager to device manager, maybe. I don't know. But it's device manager and not task manager. So now my problem is tonight, I'm going to have to look through my computer to see how the task manager and a device manager are different, because one of them is Control Alt Delete, and I'm always going there. And I think that's task manager. So anyway, number 7 is locked account and examine the running apps. So number 7 was you forgot your password. What are you going to do? Once you found it, you still can't get in. It's because your account's locked. You tried too many times, and most admins are going to have a certain amount of times that you can try before it locks you off the system if they're a smart admin. Yeah. Okay, and number 8 is a user reports a phone battery does not last the entire day. And I'm not going to read those sentences, but yes, examine the running apps. Figure out which ones do not need to run all the time. I've done this so many times with my phone because I am an app lover. And I have to constantly figure out which apps are more important for me to use than the others. And I go places, I have just a small pet peeve. I go places and they're always like, download our app and open up the QR code. And I'm like, I don't have space on my phone to open up that app. So I think that those places should give choices and not just assume you have enough space to run their app. Anyway, that's my pet peeve. Okay, so number 9 is recycle and power cable. So number 9 is which of the following is the proper way to dispose of batteries? Recycle, of course. And we're talking about cell phone batteries. I mean, I was actually just thinking like AAA, AA, D batteries, but we're also talking about like laptop batteries. We're talking about cell phone batteries. We're talking about any type of equipment type batteries that you would use for the network, or any type of battery system that you would use for any type of powerment for anyone to use anything like printer battery. And so definitely figure out how to recycle those batteries by calling the manufacturer is probably one of the best ways to figure out how to recycle it. And a lot of times right now, they'll just tell you to just put it in the mail and they will pay for the mail to get to them so they can properly recycle their own stuff, which is very smart of those companies. Much respect. Okay, and so number 10 is, of course, the power cable. Do not electrocute ourselves when we are trying to help other people. And so the power cable needs to be disconnected before any work begins. All right, so we went through basically, we went through all of the questions that come from the CompTIA website. When you plug your name in, let me go to where I went. Let's see here. We go back. Okay. Let me share what I'm looking at here because it's something to know. I think this is it. Okay. right, here we are. This is the website that I went to. It's basically CompTIA.org/certifications/a # or the hashtag sign tab-1. And when I go there, it gives you information about what's on the CompTIA A+. It gives you information on what's on Core 1 and what's on Core 2, which I like to nickname 1001 and 1002. And then it tells you what things you're going to have to know for the test. The 9 skills you're going to need to know. 5 of them are on 1001, and another 4 are on 1002. And then it goes down to what jobs you can get, and it gives you information. And let's go to the performance-based again. Before we go to the performance-based, though, I want to show you that once you reach this little red part here, it's going to ask you to put your name and your email address, and if you're a student and when you expect to pass the test. And I put that information in, and when you do that, it's going to ask you, do you want to know the objectives and do you want to know the practice questions? And so I said yes to both, and it gave me all of this. And so I just clicked on it, and that's what we just got through going over. 10 questions apiece on the practice questions that CompTIA gives, and the 2 objectives that we're going to go over. But in the meantime, I want to go back over to where this performance-based question is, because they're telling us that there's 3 different types of questions: multiple choice, drag and drop, and performance-based. And so when we go to the performance-based, it's going to have this type of page here. Performance-based questions is called simulations or virtual environments where you have to figure something out. And then it's going to ask you to, for, do you want to test one? Do you want to try one? And so you push this red button, and yes, you do want to try one. And so now we are going to try this simulation. I've already done this one earlier, and I'll go ahead and have my reader read for us.
Read the question carefully, follow the instructions, and then click the submit button when you have finished. You will receive a numeric score once you have submitted a response. After experiencing attacks on its servers, company hired a cybersecurity analyst to configure a DMZ and increase security measures. Shortly after the network was reconfigured, an assistant on the 2nd floor reported that one of the executives could not access the internet, more specifically https://comptia.org. However, he said, they can send internal email, use the intranet, and print on the local area network printer. Instruction: check the IP addresses and connectivity for each of the workstations to determine which is the affected machine. Use that information to ensure that the access control list ACL is properly configured to allow all workstations access to the internet. The router's ACL implements an implicit deny. Only make changes to correct the connectivity issue. If at any time you would like to bring back the initial state of the simulation, please click the Reset All button.
Okay. I'm sure you understood all that. So what we're going to do, it's basically saying we've experienced some attacks on the servers, and we have 3 servers here. We have a server, an email server, and a web server, and they're in this yellow DMZ zone because that's that needs to be super, safe, or we were going to put a hiding pot to catch someone trying to get into our zone. And it has, of course, the DNS. It has a switch. It has a router outside of it. And that router also goes up to another switch, which is connecting a printer and 2 workstations. Let me see if I can push this over. And 2 workstations. Now on this simulation, it looks like that it cannot. I'm going to do this again, but it looks like that it cannot. We cannot access anything but the router. Okay, and it has Ethernets 1, 2, and 3. Ethernet 1 going to this router, Ethernet 2 going to this switch, and Ethernet 3 going to this switch. Okay. So let's see what else it said. Shortly after the network was reconfigured, an assistant on the second floor reported that one of the executives cannot access the internet, more specifically CompTIA.org. However, he said they can send internal email, use the intranet, and print on the local area network printer. So I'm supposed to check the IP addresses and connectivity for each of the workstations to determine which is the affected machine. So let's do that now. So in order to check IP addresses, we do ipconfig, and it gives us the IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway. And there's something that I want to do. I want to ping the default gateway to see if we can get out. Okay. Or if we can. Okay, so that's perfect. All right. And so I'm going to push this down here. Then we're going to go to workstation 2 and do the same thing. You're going to do an IP config to see if we could get the IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway, and it's different. So there's no one that has taken over. Okay, 225 subnet mask, 192, 168, 65. What? Okay, but this one's 82 and this one's 68. Okay, 65. Okay. And then we're going to do this one and do a ping to the default gateway, which is what I didn't do before. 168.0.65. And it pinged to the default gateway. So let's see if they can ping each other. Okay, let's see, we're doing the instruction search. So first we're going to check all the IP addresses and connectivity for each of the workstations to determine which is the affected machine. So we're still doing number 1, what they told us to do. So now we're going to ping to each other to see if it works right. 192.168.0.68 and see if it pings it. Okay, it did. Let's go to this workstation and see if we can ping to this workstation. Ping 192.168.0.68. We are able to ping there. So now the final ping is, let's see if we can ping to 8.8.8. I forgot if that's Google or not. I forgot if I needed that. Oh, we do. Let's see. Ping 8.8.8.8. Okay. Oh, something happened. It timed out. It was not letting us go out. Let's see if this one does the same thing. The workstation. Ping 8.8.8.8. It pings out. So now we verified that this one is not. Don't just ignore this red. I did something wrong here. I put a dot after the 8. The last 8. So now we did all our IP configs and did a ping all the way around to the gateway, to each other, and outside. And we found that one workstation is not going outside, and that's just what the complaint is. So we have recreated the complaint. Use that information to ensure that the access control list, ACL, is properly configured to allow all workstations access to the internet. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to move these over. Actually, no, we're going to do this. Going to do this. And now instead of us going into the interfaces, we're going to go into the, actually, I just want to look at something. Each of the addresses to 6835, 6865, 62. And which one is 3? 3 is going up to the floor. So 65 and 64. Okay. So access control list is a list of rules one by one that this router is going to use. Okay. Okay. I don't know if the other one has a router. If this one, it doesn't have any ACL on that one. Okay. So right now, the one that's not able to go out is the one that has this 82. And so what I did, I noticed earlier was I look at it across and then I look at it going down. So all of these accept, deny, accept, deny, 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 accept, accept. There's fewer accepts than there are denies. Ports, let's see here, nothing looks funky. Protocols, I don't think I'm versed enough to know if anything looks funky, but I like that this is ICMP, TCP, and then these are like that. Okay, this has, I can't even access, I don't think I can access the port stuff on here or protocol. So anyway, so we're probably looking at source and destination IP addresses because that's really all that I can access right now. I don't think I tried to do the porter protocols, but it said IP addresses in the problems. So it checked IP addresses. So I'm just going to focus on IP addresses, source, and protocol. And since this one has any and any, 3 and 4 just counted out, and so it's number 10. So those rules, we don't got to worry about those because they're just like any. And to be honest with you, I think the source being any is going to be okay. And the destination being any is something that we can leave in there. So now we've got all these sources are 64, 64, 80, 32, 64, 64, 64. And so I noticed that Ethernet 3, where's it at? Here it is. Ethernet 3 had 65 and 64 on it. You see this? And I'm looking at this number here. So I'm thinking all the rules to Ethernet 3 are going good because this is going to this switch. And if it wasn't good, then both workstations will not be working right. So this must be perfect. It has something to do once it goes through the switch to the workstation, preferably workstation 2, this one. The one that had the timeout. Okay, so that one has a number 82. And so what I'm going to do is go back to the ACL and see that this one has 80 and this one has 32. So we crossed out 3, 4. We crossed out 1 and 2 because it's 64. We crossed out 7, 8, and 9 because it's 64. So now we only have 5, and we crossed out number 10. So now we only have 5 and 6. So I'm going to just go with 80 because it's closest to the 80. What's it, 86? 80 something, you know? I'm going to remove that rule because it's saying 192.168.0.80 on 28 it's saying deny. And so it's like, maybe that's what's denying it to the website because it's on 80. What was it on? 82. Okay. So 32, I didn't see any 32s. So maybe that one is TCP, UDP. Oh, I see port 22, 33.9. I think that's, I forgot my port numbers, but I think this has to do with something differently than this 80. So now let's do a check to see if that worked because I'm ping. Let's do a ping to workstation 2 to see if that worked. 8.8.8.8. And now we can ping out. It worked. It didn't deny it anymore. And so now we can see if we got the answers right. And it said I got 4 out of 4. And I've been doing this a couple of times, so, but that's what's going to be on the test for us to do. And so I didn't go into ports and protocols because it didn't ask for it. I need to study more ports and protocols though. But 3389, is that RDP? I'm not sure. Anyway, we're through with the lab. So we did the lab twice. We went over the practice examinations, and it is practically midnight around my time frame. So I wanted to come on and study, and I'll be back tomorrow. Let's go over the objectives tomorrow, and let's just tear them apart. Let's tear the core of the 1001 and 1002 objectives apart, and let's learn from them, Let me see something. Okay, this is great. I am live on all 5. I just wanted to check. I just want to thank you so much for supporting and being my study buddy. I wish it was more interactive between us. I'm trying to maybe figure out some ways how I can have more interaction, where you can come into a forum and I can come into the forum and we can all talk. But right now you're just kind of like watching me go through my goofy studies, and I love it. And I take it, I love the goofy studies and how I study. I love it. I'm going to pass A+ one day. And you probably are too, if that's your goal. You're gonna pass also. And we're gonna pass Network Plus and Security Plus and all these zillion certification tests that we're gonna need to do, along with learning different softwares and stuff. So I wish you a great night, and we will go through more examinations and go through more objectives, go through more learning tomorrow. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending and hanging out with me and studying with me. And we'll be back tomorrow to study for our A+ certification. Thanks. I'm going to log off now. Bye.